Well now, we are still on Percy for a little longer. And from what it looks like, all the big engines are still rather displeased with Percy in general. Even after tricking Percy with the backing signal setup in the earlier episode, everyone was still on the fritz. But Percy had exciting news to share. But Gordon and James weren't that interested.
The Fat Controller says that the work in the yard is too heavy for me. He's getting a bigger engine to help me. Any engine could do it. If you worked more and chatted less, this yard would be a sweeter, a better, and a happier place.
Well, he does have a valid argument. If Percy focused the first time round instead of playing games, then the three of them wouldn't be at the end of their ropes. But now Percy was frustrated, mostly because after his backing signal incident, nobody took him seriously. Which, in all honesty, I'm surprised it took till now for them to realize that. If he was playing around for that long, that would be the time of which no engine would find him believable. Meanwhile, the whole day went by and Percy was still trying to figure out what he could do in order to make them take him as a legitimate engine on Top Hat's railway. I guess he hasn't figured out the best way to gain someone's trust is to work hard and hold true to your promises. So by the end of the day, he was exhausted and came across Top Hat at Knapford Station, who had some upbeat news for him.
Cheer up. The new engine is bigger than you and can probably do the work alone. Would you like to help build my new harbour? Thomas and Toby will help. Oh, yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
That is by far the happiest Top Hat has ever looked in this series. His face is very well defined, and he looks quite energetic compared to other moments he's had screen time. Later that day, the next engine chuffed into Knapford Yard. Obviously, the new character was Duck, the number 8 engine from the Great Western Railway, as clearly abbreviated on his sides by his livery. Duck, originally named Montague, was a unique engine. His shape was even stranger looking than Toby, but probably this is in due part as to why this engine in particular has such a strong fan base. As Duck got familiar with his surroundings, James, Henry, and Gordon started to make plans on Duck's behalf. Regrettably, they were not proactive plans to help make things go smoother.
He seems a simple sort of engine. We'll have some fun and order him about. Smoke billowed everywhere.
Now I know that the theme was there for Duck, but it wasn't clearly audible with everything else going on around it. But yeah, as it can be seen, James, Gordon, and Henry were up to no good again, because they were the big engines on Sodor, and they felt they could take advantage of Duck. This isn't right, guys. I understand that Percy wasn't productive a lot when he was around, but now you have an engine who's willing to do the work with no fuss, and now it's hazing time? What's the deal? Where's the logic in this? And for once, Percy came to his senses and found this to be inappropriate, even with Duck not letting it bother him. With that, though, the two conjured up an idea on how to get the respect they wanted. What it ended up turning out to be was Duck and Percy blocking the entrance to Tidmouth Sheds, demanding they only take orders from the big man. James, Gordon, and Henry were not happy. But guess who was even crosser? Top Hat stepped in too, and was not happy with any of them.
Percy and Duck, I am pleased with your work today, but not with your behavior tonight. As for you, thundered the Fat Controller, you've been worse. You made the disturbance. This is my railway, and I give the orders. After Percy went away, Duck was left to manage alone. He did so, easily.
With the 3 big tender engines put in their place again? That's no surprise. Notice again, Edward isn't around for these commotions. It's like James, Henry, and Gordon are the drama queens of the steam team, always complaining and bullying new smaller engines. At least for now. This kind of behavior needs to end, though. As mentioned before, the rationale behind hazing Duck never made sense. Why would you do that to someone who's literally trying to make your job easier? It's counterproductive, and for all they knew, if Duck wasn't a no-nonsense engine, he could have been a real troublemaker, too. For Percy, it was nice to see him stick up for Duck, but it's weird how the shoe is on the other foot now. For both sides, really. All of a sudden now, Percy is on the just side, when initially he was nothing but the engine creating all the problems. If seeing another engine like him being bullied is what made him rise up, okay, that's noble. But that should at least be mentioned then, so the audience knows he sees the error in his ways. As for Duck, we haven't gotten a whole lot to see yet with him. But we do know so far that he is an engine who can tolerate bullcrap and hold his own. He's also an engine who knows how to go about disputes without completely upsetting Top Hat. With that said, Ringo Starr's vocals here are the most intense they've ever been. But still, Even Starr sounds fairly fierce when given the right lines. The set pieces don't have too much of variety this time, only having appearances at Tidmouth Sheds mainly and Knapford Station. With the introduction of Duck, Knapford Yard did get a few more views to cover, and there's also another interior shot of Top Hat's office. The furniture looks a little rearranged as from what we saw the last time, which keeps these moments fresh, although someone could criticize it as bad continuity. For music, the only one new track we hear is Duck's theme. Sadly, it's not even given a chance to fully shine in this episode because of all the dialogue and sound effects that were overlaid in editing. From what was heard though, it sounds down to earth and optimistic. The only theme clearly heard was Top Hat's signature motif, and we all know that means serious business. Next episode is Percy and Harold. Thanks for watching.